Anyway, where was I? Editing, yes. So yeah, another element that jumped out at me. There might have been others that I forgot, and there was a moment where I went to the bathroom. So I mean, God only knows. But the one that I remember, editing wise, Laurie Strode's daughter, whose name I can't remember right now, which is probably also a bad sign, talking about I was 6 years old when I learned how to shoot a gun, and then they have this fucking flashback to her as a kid learning how to shoot a gun, and I don't think you even see Laurie in the flashback. And they're like, I was, and she keeps describing, I was 8 when I blah 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 blah. I'm like, cut to it, and those cuts are just so fucking unnecessary. You could either just have a scene, that shows her childhood with Laurie and the effect that it had on her later, or you just have her talk about it and play it out on the actor's face. Um, so these things, this there's a lack of understanding of the tone of the original two films on part of David Gordon Green that makes me think that there's more to it that he's misunderstanding. I do remember a quote in an interview somewhere. I can't quote the source, cite the source, but I think it was McBride. He said something like, like what's really scary about Halloween, it's not this unkillable guy walking slowly after you. It's the idea that somebody can stab you to death when you're taking out the trash. Um, to which I have to personally call bullshit. A big part of the fear factor of Halloween and what makes Michael special is that he is silent and walks after you and cannot be killed. It's a classic fucking archetype that goes all the way back to the Mummy and was explored to amazing effect also in It Follows. Fucking whatever, dudes. Let's see. Next bitch. What was it? Um, uh, yeah, the editing on the ending too, just very, very erratic. Very odd choices. The freeze frame on the hand of the knife at the end, and then just cut right to an ending. Um, characters, the characters in this film, there are a lot of them are kind of great, and not a whole lot is done with them. Again, um, and then you have a couple that are clearly just plot devices, particularly those fucking podcasters in the beginning. They're just there to kind of magically set Michael off. He inexplicably gets a hold of Michael's old mask and inexplicably gets it past security. I was confident they were going to explain that when they showed it in the trailer, that somehow they were going to make it believable in the film, and they just didn't. So, my bad. Um, so, yeah, there, and then, who was the other? The second Doctor, the new Loomis guy, perhaps the most unnecessary character ever written. Jesus fucking Christ, what was his purpose? Maybe just to kill the cop so Michael could escape again? If that, I'm going to have to go back and watch it again just to see if there actually is a plot function that he fulfills. If there is, it doesn't make it any better. It just makes him a plot device. So he's either just a plot device or a random, completely arbitrary character who wouldn't matter if you fucking edited him out. And I would go ahead and say that if you did edit that character out, you would probably have a 25% better movie. Um, or, and rather, if you wanted to explore that character, give him his own standalone movie. That could be a really fascinating story. What makes, like in the original character of Dr. Loomis, you have this character who goes from healer to pursuer, to law enforcer to executioner. Hopefully, that's his intent anyway. And in this one, you have one who, I guess, goes the Hannibal Lecter route and wants the taste of what it's like to be a psychopath. Um, but it just happens so fucking out of the blue, and his character is so poorly set up and feels so out of place. I hate him. Yeah, I hate him. Okay, next. Let's stop talking about that. Um, yeah, another Night Before Halloween prison transfer. Anyway, and lastly, the stupid fucking goddamn ending. I understand leaving it open, and I was not necessarily surprised by the lack of closure with the burning house. Yeah, you see Michael trapped in the basement. You see the house burning. You don't see him catch fire. You don't see him escape. But knowing, if you've seen even 2 films in this fucking franchise, you know how creative or careless they can be in bringing Michael back to life. They really don't care how they do it. So that ambiguity doesn't surprise me at all, but just the weird random fucking Texas Chainsaw ending where they just jump into a pickup truck and I don't think you ever even see the driver. There's the weird freeze frame on the granddaughter's hand on holding the knife at the end, which is that supposed to be some kind of fucking Tommy Jarvis, Jimmy Lloyd, she might be the next killer thing? The movie can't pick a tonal direction, and it does well. It chooses a good theme with the splinter effect of trauma, as mentioned before. Doesn't do very much with it. Too many random subplots. They could have narrowed this down quite a bit and expanded on a few things, and possibly had a really solid movie. Maybe especially if they let somebody else direct it, because I don't think David Gordon Green has the eye for it. I don't think he gets horror. I personally don't think he gets comedy either, but many people would disagree with me on that, and I'm sure people disagree with me on this one, and that's to be expected, of course. Is that all I have to say? I think it is. I can't say I was expecting the world from this film, but there is a part of me that also feels like it really can't be that fucking hard. I do think that something that a lot of these major franchise films are suffering from lately is very, very rushed development. There are some that I think could have been incredibly solid if just a couple more passes had been taken at the script. And certainly Halloween, I remember like hearing about each next phase of its production. They all happened so fucking quickly. You know, Halloween started shooting today. 2 weeks later, Halloween wrapped shooting. And I don't think they were in writing development very long either. I know that they claim to have written a sequel or 2, like plotted them out anyway. But I do wish maybe they had channeled some extra energy just into making the script a little better. Having somebody else take a pass at dialogue, perhaps, and a different director. Okay, so there were a few things. I don't know. You know, originally I was more interested in trying to tackle a Friday the 13th remake, if they would ever let me do that. But apparently I'm going to have to do everything myself and take on a Halloween remake too. Oh well. It just never ends. Happy Halloween, everybody!